Welcome back, everybody. In our round 2 fragrance fight, we have a rose scent face-off. In this face-off, we have the Perfumer's Workshop Tea Rose. And in the other corner, we have Maison Alhambra's Rose Petals, meant to be a dupe of Tom Ford's Rose Bricked. Which one will come out on top? Only one way to find out. Stay tuned. Our next head-to-head will be two rose perfumes. First is Rose Petals by Maison Alhambra. That is meant to be a dupe of Tom Ford's Rose Bricked. And Tea Rose by the Perfumer's Workshop. That's meant to be a tea and rose, obviously. Fragrance, very cheap. Both came recommended. I've smelled Rose Bricked and I really like it. So if this is very far off, I'm going to be disappointed. And if some of you have seen my other fragrance videos, you'll know that I got a recommendation for a rose scent-ish kind of. That was Vicky Teal's Siren or Siren, and I was horrifically disappointed. Very old lady grandma-ish, powdery. No, I gave that away, but I'm hoping that these recommendations will work out better, and I've actually tried Rose Bricked that this is meant to dupe, so I'm going to be optimistic, but we're going to start with Tea Rose, very cheap, and I think it's a toilette. Yes, it's an eau de toilette. You get 120 milliliters. I think I paid $15, something like that. This was an eau de parfum. It's only 80 milliliters, and I think it was like 3 times the price of this one. So we'll start with this one. Got a nice little sticker there at the top. I can already smell the rose just taking it out of the packaging. It's very yellow, the liquid inside. Stop playing with that, I'll put it here. So I'm also going to compare this to Yardley's Rose, English Rose too, because I suspect that the two may end up being quite similar, but we'll see if the tea note in Tea Rose gives it something different. It already smells familiar, so maybe I knew somebody that wore Tea Rose at some point in my life, because there's something familiar about it. Let's try it out. It's strange looking. It's kind of weird. Spray it. Oh, that's unexpected. That's interesting. Oh goodness. Okay, so it's got a little bit of the powderiness that I didn't like in Siren, but it's much more toned down compared to that. And there's something about it that reminds me of the fallen petals when a rose starts to droop and wither, and the petals does have a 90s kind of feel to it. Oh man, I wish I could describe it properly. It's very pretty. I'm not really getting much tea. I guess there is sort of a bitterness, a little something there. It may take some time. I'm gonna smell all of them again at the end and see if it started to dry down a little and get different notes. It's quite strong for an eau de toilette. I'm pleasantly surprised. I think it's actually a bit stronger than Kismet Angel was. But we'll see how they both hold up. So definitely a winner, and different enough from Yardley's English Rose that you could have both. But honestly, I would just pick one. I love rose fragrances, that's why I would want both. But in all seriousness, one of the two, and they're both pretty cheap, either of the two would be fine to fill that role in your fragrance lineup. But unless you really love your rose and you wear a lot of rose like I do in the spring and summer, you could get both. But honestly, one either or, they're pretty similar. This is more powdery and it has a bitterness, and it's a little bit more complex. The Yardley's English Rose is a bit brighter and more a rose in the garden, versus this is a rose in a vase inside, and it's been a couple of days, kind of a feel. It's going up against Rose Petals as well, which is a dupe of Tom Ford's Rose Pricked. Nice substantial packaging. I know people that buy fragrances solely because of the packaging. Ooh, I thought they were going to change the packaging. I was under the impression that, like, maybe I got an older version that that's some interesting texture. But yes, I was under the impression that Maison, Alhambra, and Latava were being sued by Tom Ford because the designs were too similar and that they would have to change the shape and design of the actual bottle. But I guess not. Goodness, that is heavy. That's another defend yourself in case of a home invasion type of bottle. Actually, I shouldn't joke about that. I mean, I'm not joking about it, but for real, you probably really could defend yourself. rose fragrances, I would say this one is nowhere near similar to those two. This is a much sweeter. Yeah, it's so much sweeter. It doesn't have as much of an authentic rose scent in the sense that the other two, it smells like you have a rose in front of you, either in the garden or in the house. This one, while it definitely smells like roses, it smells like the essence of a rose, like you've extracted the rose fragrance. You know, you're not really getting the plant, you're getting the fragrance, which is not a bad thing. Certainly I see the similarity to rose pricked, but rose pricked is it has some other layers that I'm not getting here. This is almost jammy, just a little. I've smelled much jammier roses, but it's hinting towards that rather than towards the plant, the rose flower. I'll put up the notes. I'll put the notes up in the video as well. Ah, man, I don't know. I like it, but I don't know if I love it the way I loved rose pricked. I think if I hadn't smelled rose pricked before, I would really like this because I like rose fragrances. But when comparing it to rose pricked has a little something special that this one doesn't. But it's pretty close. Closer definitely than Kismet Angel is to Angel's Share in my opinion. And much better than rose scents like Joan Malone Red Roses. I definitely like this, even this dupe Rose Petals. I like it more than I like the original brand Jo Malone Red Roses in my opinion. But you know, everybody to their own. Actually, that's what it reminds me of, a massage oil, a rose scented massage oil I used, goodness, years and years ago, goodness, like in maybe 15 years ago, maybe not that quite that long, like 10, no, maybe close to 15. Yeah, it definitely smells like a massage oil I used back in the day. And it kind of reminds me of a rose scent from Estee Lauder. I have a lot of their scents and I've used a lot of their products over the years, including hand creams and soaps and body washes, and I swear there's something so similar to this. It's very nice, and again, really, if you're not big into rose the way I am, one of these, the Yardley's English Rose, Perfumer's Workshop, Tea Rose, and Rose Petals or Rose Pricked, you would only really need one. I like rose scents, so I like having a lot of different options. But yeah, one would probably be fine, even though I would say this one is fairly distinct from the other two, that having them both wouldn't overlap quite as much. But between Tea Rose and Yardley's English Rose, you could choose either of those, and they're pretty similar. So for this head-to-head, man, I think I might actually like Tea Rose a little more. But this one smells a lot more sophisticated, and I think I'll wear Tea Rose more, especially casually. But I think if I'm going somewhere nicer or meeting up with people, I will probably wear this one. So which one does that mean? Is the winner? Gosh, why are these so hard? I thought I would have a clear favorite. I'm not an indecisive person. This is very strange for me. Keep forgetting to label them. I think Tea Rose, the GB, might be the winner. It just has that rose petal smell that, it takes me back. So does this one. Honestly, these both have been very, very tough head-to-heads, and I was not expecting that. But Tea Rose is going to take it. Rose versus Rose Petals. Tea Rose has more greenness, smells more authentically like a rose in front of you. Rose Petals, more jammy, powdery, more like a rose perfume rather than the actual rose. There's something slightly more sophisticated about Rose Petals, so I might wear that one up a bit, but I see myself reaching for rose tea. So that was my fragrance head to head. I hope you enjoyed it and that you maybe gained some insight, or if nothing else, you were listening to my voice and the clicking and the tapping, and it helped you relax and sleep. Thank you for being